The promotion party was held at the Riverside Country Club, all crystal chandeliers and expensive wine. My son-in-law, Marcus, had just been promoted to Senior Director of Operations at Sterling Medical Center, and he'd invited 200 people to celebrate. I sat at a table in the back corner, wearing a simple black dress and the silk scarf I'd chosen to cover my thinning hair. Stage 2 breast cancer, diagnosed 3 weeks ago. I told only my daughter, Vanessa, asking her to keep it private until I was ready to share. Apparently, Marcus had other plans. "Everyone, can I have your attention?" Marcus stood at the podium, champagne glass raised, his smile wide and confident. "Thank you all for coming tonight. This promotion means everything to me. Senior Director at one of the country's top medical centers. Not bad for a kid from Ohio, right?" The crowd applauded. "Now, I know timing is everything in life," Marcus continued, his tongue shifting to something that made my stomach clench. "And speaking of timing, my mother-in-law, Catherine, over there just got some news." Wave to everyone, Catherine. 200 faces turned toward me. I kept my hands in my lap. "Catherine just found out she has cancer," Marcus announced, his voice carrying that particular pitch people use when telling a funny story. "Breast cancer, actually. And you know what her first concern was? That it might interfere with my promotion party." A few nervous laughs rippled through the crowd. I mean, talk about timing, right? I finally get the promotion I've been working toward for 5 years, and boom, cancer diagnosis. He shook his head with exaggerated sympathy. "But don't worry, folks. Catherine assured us she wouldn't let a little thing like cancer ruin my special night. She even wore a wig. Oh wait, no, that's a scarf. My bad." More laughter, louder this time. Vanessa grabbed my hand under the table, her face pale. "Mom, I swear I didn't know he was going to." "It's fine, honey," I whispered, though my chest felt tight. "So let's raise a glass," Marcus continued, enjoying his captive audience. "To timing, may mine continue to be perfect, and may Catherine's get a lot better. To Catherine, may your cancer be as easy to beat as my last performance review." The crowd erupted in laughter and applause. People actually clinked glasses. They were toasting my cancer diagnosis like it was a punchline. Marcus winked at me from across the room, clearly pleased with himself. I sat perfectly still, my hands folded in my lap. That same calm smile I'd maintained through 28 years of medical practice firmly in place. Then a man stood up from the head table, Dr. Richard Chen, CEO of Sterling Medical Center. Marcus's new boss. "Marcus," Dr. Chen said, his voice cutting through the laughter like a scalpel, "before we continue this celebration, I need to clarify something. You mentioned Dr. Catherine Wells?" Marcus's smile faltered slightly. "My mother-in-law, yes. Catherine, she's..." "Dr. Wells," Dr. Chen interrupted. "Not Catherine. Dr. Catherine Wells, Chief of Oncology at Sterling Medical Center." "The Chief of Oncology. Your new direct superior, actually, since the restructuring puts operations under clinical services." The room went completely silent. Marcus's face drained of color. "What?" "Dr. Wells has been Chief of Oncology for 12 years. She's published over 100 peer-reviewed articles on breast cancer treatment. She's the principal investigator on 3 groundbreaking clinical trials currently running at Sterling. She personally treats over 200 patients a year, including several board members and," he paused, "my wife." You could hear a pin drop. "In fact," Dr. Chen continued, walking toward my table, "Dr. Wells is the reason I accepted the CEO position at Sterling. I wanted to work with the best oncology department in the country, and she built it." He reached my table and extended his hand. "Dr. Wells, I'm sorry you had to hear your private medical information announced like that. If you'd like to leave, I'll completely understand." I stood slowly, accepting his handshake. "Thank you, Richard, but I'm fine." "You're sure?" "Because I can end this party right now." "That won't be necessary." I turned to face the room. 200 stunned faces, champagne glasses frozen halfway to lips. "Though I would like to say something, if you don't mind." "Of course." Dr. Chen stepped back, yielding the floor. I walked to the podium where Marcus stood paralyzed. He moved aside without meeting my eyes. "Good evening, everyone," I began. "For those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Catherine Wells. I'm Chief of Oncology at Sterling Medical Center, where I've worked for 18 years. I'm also a professor at the medical school, where I teach residents and fellows in hematology oncology." I pause, letting that sink in. I'm also Marcus's mother-in-law, and yes, I was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. Stage 2, hormone receptor positive, HER2 negative. Caught early, excellent prognosis, currently undergoing treatment. Vanessa was crying silently at our table. Now, Marcus mentioned timing, I continued. And he's right, timing is everything. So let me share some timing with you. 3 weeks ago, when I received my diagnosis, the first person I told was my daughter Vanessa. The second person was my oncologist, Dr. Sarah Martinez, who happens to be one of my former students and is now one of the finest breast cancer specialists in the country. I looked directly at Marcus. I didn't tell you, Marcus, because I knew you'd make it about yourself. Because everything in Vanessa's life has become about you, her career choices, her friendships, her relationship with her own mother. Everything filtered through what matters to Marcus. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. You asked what my first concern was when I got my diagnosis. It wasn't your promotion party. It was my patients, the 247 people currently under my care who depend on me to fight for their lives. It was making sure my clinical trials continued without interruption. It was ensuring that the cancer center I built wouldn't suffer because I needed treatment. I turned back to the room. Many of you work at Sterling. Some of you are my colleagues. Some are my patients. Some are family members of my patients. And I want you to know, I'm going to be fine. Because I have an excellent medical team, a strong support system, and frankly, I'm too stubborn to let cancer win. A few people smiled at that. But I also want to address what just happened here. Marcus thought it was funny to announce my private medical diagnosis to 200 people without my consent. He thought it was entertaining to mock my cancer, my appearance, my treatment. He thought timing was the punchline. I looked at Marcus again. But here's the thing about timing, Marcus. 4 months ago, when you applied for this promotion, do you know who wrote your recommendation letter? His eyes went wide. I did. Richard called me personally and asked my opinion on your suitability for senior director. I told him you were hardworking, dedicated, and showed promise. I recommended you for this position. Marcus swayed slightly, gripping the table. 2 months ago, when your department was being investigated for budget discrepancies, do you know who vouched for your integrity to the board? Mom, no, Vanessa whispered. I did. I told them that while your bookkeeping was sloppy, I believed the errors were honest mistakes, not fraud. I saved your career, Marcus. The room was absolutely silent now. And last week, when you were finalized for this promotion, do you know who was asked to serve on the committee that would evaluate your performance going forward? Marcus's face had gone from pale to gray. Me. As Chief of Oncology, I now sit on the Clinical Operations Oversight Committee, which means I'll be reviewing your decisions, your budget requests, your staffing proposals, and your performance metrics quarterly. Dr. Chen spoke up. That's correct. The restructuring puts all operational decisions through clinical review to ensure patient care isn't compromised by cost-cutting. Dr. Wells chairs that committee. Marcus finally found his voice. Catherine, Dr. Wells, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know you worked at Sterling. Vanessa never mentioned. I mentioned it constantly, Vanessa said, her voice shaking. You never listened. Every time I tried to talk about my mother's work, you changed the subject or checked your phone or made some dismissive comment about Dr. Egos. But you said she worked at a hospital. I said she was chief of oncology at Sterling Medical Center. I said it dozens of times. You just never cared enough to pay attention. Marcus turned to the crowd, desperate now. This is a misunderstanding. I was just trying to lighten the mood, make a joke to ease the tension. There was no tension, I interrupted quietly. You created tension by violating my privacy and mocking my illness for entertainment. That wasn't a joke, Marcus. That was cruelty disguised as humor. A woman at a nearby table stood up. Dr. Wells, I'm Amanda Rodriguez. You treated my mother for ovarian cancer 3 years ago. I remember. Carmen, how is she? Cancer-free, thanks to you. You spent hours with our family, explaining every option, every side effect, every possibility. You held my mother's hand during her worst days. You called our house personally to check on her. Amanda's voice broke. You saved her life. And this person just mocked you for having the same disease you've dedicated your life to fighting. Other people started standing. A man in his 50s. You treated my sister. A younger woman. You saved my daughter. An elderly man. You've been my oncologist for 6 years. More and more people stood, sharing stories, testimonials, moments where I'd helped them or their loved ones through the darkest times of their lives. Marcus watched his promotion party transform into a tribute to the woman he just humiliated. His face cycled through shock, shame, and something that might have been panic. Dr. Chen cleared his throat. "Marcus, I think we need to talk. Privately." "Now." "Sir, I can't explain." "My office. Monday morning, 7 a.m. Dr. Chen's voice was ice. "We'll be discussing whether someone who shows this level of judgment should be in a senior leadership position at a medical center. Bring your union representative if you have one." Marcus looked at me desperate. "Dr. Wells, please. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to." "You did mean to," I said simply. "You meant to embarrass me, to diminish me, to make yourself look clever at my expense. You just didn't expect consequences because you never bothered to learn who I actually am." "I'll do anything. Please. This promotion is everything to me, and my health is everything to me. My patients are everything to me. My daughter is everything to me. But you made it clear tonight what your priorities are." Vanessa appeared at my side. "Mom, can we go, please?" "Of course, honey." I turned to Dr. Chen. "Richard, thank you for the support. I'll see you Monday for our clinical review meeting. Looking forward to it, Dr. Wells. And Catherine?" He touched my arm gently. "My wife wanted me to tell you. She's rooting for you. We all are." "Tell Sarah I said thank you." As Vanessa and I walked toward the exit, people reached out to squeeze my hand, offer support, and share their own cancer stories. The party that was supposed to celebrate Marcus had become something entirely different. At the door, I turned back. Marcus stood alone at the podium, his promotion party in ruins around him, watching his career potentially crumble because he couldn't resist making a joke at someone else's expense. "Marcus," I called out. "One more thing about timing." He looked up, hopeful, desperate. "My first chemotherapy session is scheduled for next Tuesday at 2 p.m., which is exactly when you were supposed to present your first operational report to my committee. I'll be rescheduling that meeting, obviously. We'll let you know when we can fit you in." His hope died. "Good luck with your new position. You're going to need it." In the car, Vanessa cried while I drove. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have defended you. I should have stopped him. I should have." "You're leaving him, aren't you?" I asked gently. She nodded, tears streaming. "I can't stay married to someone who would do that. Who could be that cruel? Who knows I'm terrified of losing you and still thought it was funny." "Good. You deserve better." I should have seen it sooner. All the signs were there. The way he dismissed your calls. The way he forgot to invite you to things. The way he made fun of your work clothes or your car or your apartment. "What apartment?" "He thought you lived in some tiny apartment because you never invited us over. He didn't know about the house." I smiled slightly. "The house your grandfather left me? The 4-bedroom colonial where you grew up? That house?" I told him about it. He just assumed I was exaggerating. He said doctors don't make that much money, that you probably lived modestly because you weren't very successful. "And you believed him?" "No." But I stopped correcting him. It was easier than fighting. She wiped her eyes. "I'm moving back home, if that's okay, just until I figure things out. Your room is exactly as you left it. Even the embarrassing boy band posters? Especially those." We drove in silence for a while. Then Vanessa spoke quietly. "Mom, are you scared? About the cancer?" "Terrified," I admitted. "But I'm also a realist. I caught it early. I have an excellent treatment plan. My prognosis is good, and I'm going to fight like hell. Can I come to your appointments? Be there with you?" "I'd like that." "And Mom, what Marcus said about your hair, you look beautiful. Scarf or no scarf, cancer or no cancer, you're the strongest person I know." I reached over and squeezed her hand. When we got home, I made tea while Vanessa called her friend to arrange moving her things out of the house she'd shared with Marcus. I listened to her voice in the next room, stronger now, more certain, reclaiming herself. My phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Chen. "Board meeting Monday. They want to discuss Marcus's future. Your input would be valuable." I replied, "I'll be there. After my treatment planning appointment." Another text came from Dr. Martinez, my oncologist and former student. "Heard what happened. You okay?" "I'm fine. See you Tuesday." Wouldn't miss it. Also, I'm bringing the good anti-nausea meds and ice cream. You're my favorite student. I'm your only student who became your doctor. Doesn't count. I smiled at my phone. Vanessa appeared in the doorway. "Mom, can I ask you something?" Are you going to get Marcus fired? I thought about it, about the cruelty he'd shown, about the violation of my privacy, about the mockery he'd made of my illness. No, I said finally, I'm going to let him keep his job, but I'm going to make him earn it. Every single day, every report, every decision, every budget request. He's going to have to justify it to me and my committee. He's going to have to prove he deserves to work at a hospital that exists to help people, not humiliate them. That's more generous than he deserves. Maybe. But I didn't become chief of oncology by being cruel. I did it by being better than the people who underestimated me. He definitely underestimated you. Everyone does, I said, right up until they don't. Vanessa smiled through her tears. I love you, Mom. I love you too, sweetheart. That night, lying in bed, I thought about Marcus's joke, about timing, about how he thought it was funny that my cancer diagnosis coincided with his promotion. He was right that timing mattered, just not in the way he thought. The timing of my diagnosis meant I caught it early, survivable. The timing of his promotion meant he'd face oversight from someone who now had every reason to scrutinize his every move. And the timing of his cruelty meant it happened in front of 200 witnesses who would never forget what kind of man he really was. Timing is everything, and his had just run out.